you doing, folks? This is Mitch from Hard Intentions YouTube channel. We also have HARDINTENTIONS.com where we have some really cool stuff. Shirts, hats, art. Check us out. You might find something you like. Hi, it's Mitch from Hard Intentions YouTube channel, and I got a guest on here today. You might be interested in hearing his story. Want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Greg. I'm from Sharpest Art TV.
All right. Cool. I met him through my YouTube channel and Instagram, and he's into tattooing, did a little prison jolt. And you're, how old are you?
Me, I'm 41.
All right.
41.
Wow, look a little younger than that. So where did you grow up at?
I grew up in Southern California in the city of El Monte.
Yeah.
Pretty much all my life. Spent all my life right there, pretty much.
Oh, El Monte.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty that's an old famous town.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really old town, man. Really heavily populated with Hispanics.
Right.
I'm white. I grew up right there with nothing but Hispanics, Mexicans, all my life from the beginning, man.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, it's an old barrio right there, man. I was with some guys from El Monte when I was in youth authority, and here and there in prison, I met a few guys from El Monte. You know, they were all always pretty cool dudes, though. You know.
Yeah, some good people come from there. At least I like to think.
So, as a white dude growing up in El Monte, how was that?
Oh man, it was good, and it was bad. It was, everything felt somewhat normal. But there was like, being the only white kid in the neighborhood, it was a little difficult. It wasn't easy. We weren't the only white family on the block.
Yeah.
But there was the kids that couldn't come out when the streetlights were on. So once the streetlights were on, that's when all the kids would go inside, but us kids would stay outside. You know, I grew up next to a park.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of us little ghetto bastards right there running around the park, being little badass kids, you know?
Yeah, yeah. That's right.
It was really cool.
So did you go to school, all that? Did you finish school?
I went through all the way up to high school. High school, I only went for a week and got kicked out, and then I ended up at a probation school, Boys Republic.
Oh,
I did that for I did that for just for probation purposes, so I wouldn't go back to jail as a juvenile.
Right.
And that was like maybe 3 months, like 3 to 6 months. I finished that program, got off probation, and went straight back to the streets.
All right. So basically, you grew up in the streets.
Yeah, I grew up pretty much in the streets, running around,
running with homies.
Yeah, you know, it didn't start off like that in the beginning. It just like my story is a little different because a lot of dudes, they get kind of like somewhat peer pressured into a gang, or they get in for some other crazy reasons.
Right.
For me, it was all like, it was normal, natural. It was just, you grow into it, kind of, because the area where I grew up, it was really heavily gang infested, you know. And
so basically, you just kind of clicked up with the guys that you grew up with.
Yeah, and it's funny because my wife and a lot of my family, they trip out because my friends today are the same friends from the sandbox.
Yeah.
From the goddamn Superman drawers, you know. We were kids, and all of us pretty much got into the gang, and it is what it is, you know. And it's some are doing good, some are doing bad, some are in jail, some are not, some are dead.
Yeah.
Everybody took their journey, everybody took their walk in life, you know?
Yeah, it's like the bike club thing, you know. They like to do the RICO Act on all the bike clubs, and they say, "Oh, you guys are involved with organized crime and this and that." And really, it's just like, you know, you got a group of guys that ride motorcycles together, and then we're not together riding motorcycles or hanging out. They're out doing their own thing, you know. And some of them are professional, some of them are laborers, and some of them get involved with some bullshit, you know. And it's not like it's an organized thing. It's just like, you know, they're just a group of guys, and out of every group of guys, some guys are doing real good, and some guys, you know, they do dirt, you know. And one
Yeah.
guy might not know that his other homies across the town doing dirt, you know. It's just,
The funny thing is, my dad, he's actually a biker.
oh,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, he rides bikes, and so my dad was always in and out of prison. He had, I believe, two or three. He had three numbers.
Yeah.
Uh, One was, I know he had two CDC numbers for sure, and then he had I believe it was like a CRC number or
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that.
N number. N number.
Also had one of them numbers. So he
Okay.
had three numbers. He had two, yeah, three. That, I don't know. Yeah, that's a number, right? The drug number.
Yeah, it's N number.
Yeah. So he was always in and out. You know.
And so what kind of how did that impact your life growing up?
That's the thing, because to me it felt normal. Everything felt normal. It felt organic. Like it didn't everything just felt like it was falling in place. You know, it's weird. It's I have a different story. You know,
Yeah.
it's really strange. Um, you know, the biker life. You know.
Yeah, so like when your dad's friends would come over the house and everything, did they treat you like you know, like a little brother, or you know, like
Oh
maybe like,
yeah, I'm going and grabbing the beers. You
yeah,
know, I'm grabbing the beers and I'm opening the beers for them, and it felt normal. Like it didn't feel bad. My dad, he wasn't abusive or nothing. My mom was not abusive.
right,
They were doing their thing. You know, he was just in and out of jail. And I remember one time he got out of prison, and I didn't know he had got out of prison, and he came to visit. Well, he came on his Harley,
yeah,
and we're down the street from our house, and we're playing on the little dirt hill playing marbles, and he pulled up and everybody was tripping out because I was like, man, that's my dad. I was like 8 fucking years old, you know, and
yeah,
they're like, what? Like, what the hell? They never seen a white biker before, you know? So
yeah,
they're tripping out like, dang, what the hell? This looks different. And we chased him down the street to go to my house on his motorcycle, and then till this day, man, my buddies remind me of that. Man, remember when your dad pulled up on the motorcycle, and they'll be like, yeah, he almost got his fucking beard in the chain. They'll be like, we have good memories like that. You know, everybody trips
yeah.
out, and they know my family, they know my mom and my dad and all that stuff.
That's right.
Cool.
So that's cool. So growing up, so the biker thing, that's kind of like family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like growing up, you know, you start getting in trouble. What age did you start like getting in trouble?
Oh man, my first case was GTA. It
Yeah.
was back in the early '90s. They used to have these Toyota minivans, and before you used to be able to get a pair of scissors or a screwdriver and just pop the ignition, and we used to get those things like on a regular basis and drive around the city, play bumper cars with them, and just seeing kids, dumb little kids, you know, little ghetto kids. And man, one day we went out of the city, and we decided we want to talk smack to some type of security guard. Well, he called us in and reported us, and
Yeah.
before you know it, I was in the station. And then after that, it was I ended up going home, and then I kept getting a bunch of curfew tickets. That's where they would shut down the. You had to be in by 10 o'clock. Well,
Right.
we would go to the park all the time, so we'll be getting curfew tickets right there. And then after that, I picked up a possession of cells at like 14, I had some cocaine. Well, I actually didn't even have it. It wasn't even mine. They pinned it on me. And then after that, in the process of that, fighting that case, I had picked up a firearm case.
Right.
And I was going into to the juvenile system, juvenile hall, and juvenile camp and all that stuff. Did a little 9-month term in that. That was a little different, a little interesting. That was pretty much it with that.
Did you ever make your way through youth authority?
No, okay, so the youth authority, a lot of my friends went to youth authority, and some of them went with basic little car, like stolen car or whatever. Okay, back then they used to have 2 judges. I forgot my judge's name, but it was him. He used to try to help the kids somewhat, and then there was another judge. I believe his name was like Baloo or something. But that guy, he would send everybody to YA.
Yeah.
Everybody would want to YA with him.
Yeah.
And I got lucky because I didn't have to see him, because for sure I would have went to YA. I would have definitely went to YA for sure. But I got lucky. I had the other judge, and
Right.
it used to be a trip, man.
Yeah. So you're running amok then. So now like you're just like running amok, right?
Yeah, just
As a
being
teenager.
being a badass kid, man. Just I got out of the last camp program. I believe I was 16. I got out of, and that's when things started picking up a little more. You know, I started getting a little more deeper, a little more heavier, and
A little more serious.
yeah, a little more serious. You know, and then
Yeah.
A lot of the guys that I grew up with went to either YA, they were in YA still, or they were on their way to prison.
Yeah.
And so it got to a point where I was already making a name for myself in my neighborhood, and doing all kinds of dumb stuff. And
Yeah.
the last core group of my buddies that I grew up with, they hit prison. So I was pretty much by myself, kind of, from my group of friends. And so I had to interact with other areas of the city, and so I would get around a lot, like different spots, different hangouts, making a name for myself, and
Yeah.
doing a lot of things. You know, I never felt like, okay, I have to do more because I'm white. It was never like that. It was always I always did my job. I always did what I had to do. So it was never a problem. There was a couple of people that really didn't know me. They would get out of YA or get out of prison, and of course they want to try to test me or whatever. But a lot of times it wouldn't work out in their favor at the end of the day. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not no badass, but it just it wouldn't work out sometimes. Sometimes it would just be different.
Did you feel like you were headed to prison? Like it's inevitable, like you're gonna end up there, or?
I knew I was going to prison years before I even went to prison.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to prison by the time I was 16, 17. I already knew it was coming because the lifestyle I was living, and that's where everybody was going. I wasn't looking forward to going or anything like that, but I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And one of my older homeboys, he had told me, he's like, man, you're going to prison. You're gonna end up in prison.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And he's like, remember this: never do nothing that you don't feel comfortable doing. And it stood with me. And that little advice helped me so much. It
That was the older homeboy told you that?
yeah, he let me know that, and he let me know a lot of other different things, like the whole someone tries to tell you to do something, go ahead and volunteer them to go with you. And 9 times out of 10, you know what happens with that? They piss on themselves.
Yeah.
You know, that happens.
I used to tell a lot of the youngsters, like when I was in Corcoran and stuff, like they go, hey, you know, what do we do if so and so tells us we got to put in some work? You know, I said, well, tell him to go show you how to do it. You know,
Yep.
and you'll do the next one. And it actually came to a point where they did that. And, they told me, well, what's going to happen if we do that? I said, nothing. The guy's going to pee on himself. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
There is those, don't get me wrong. There is those times where it's necessary. You know that it's necessary. It is what it is type deal. But there's that game also where it's like, man, fuck you, do it yourself, stupid. I'm not no dummy.
Sometimes you get an older guy, feels like something needs to be taken care of, or it's his responsibility, and he'll try to get a younger guy to do it because obviously he doesn't want to do it.
Exactly.
He wants that free ride, shooting dope and being that guy, but when it comes down to it, he doesn't want to put in any fucking work,
Yeah.
That happens,
So I ended up
So when did you get arrested? How old were you when you took your first trip to prison?
18 years old.
Oh wow.
18 years old.
Right.
I picked up a shooting case.
All right.
In broad daylight, and it was actually at a car show. Broad daylight in front of hundreds of people. A lot was going on. There was actually, I believe, five cases that they tried to pin on me in the very beginning.
Wow.
It was a couple shootings and stabbings, and it was insane, and basically I ended up beating all the cases because there was the time frame, so I couldn't get from one part of the city to the next part of the city, assault this guy, and then make it back to this side and assault this guy. It was just literally impossible. It was like, oh, really? Like, but they tried. They really tried. They pushed really hard, and the shooting case that I actually got found guilty on, I did it. I did it 100%. There's no denying that. The cops were actually the witnesses. It was in front of the cops. So dumbest thing ever,
Did you take a deal on that, or did you fight it, or what?
Yeah, I was actually facing the first deal was 25 to life. That was the very first deal.
Oh wow.
And I was like, oh hell no, like that's not gonna happen,
Yeah.
And then they went down to 20, and I was like, all right, this is looking a little more legit,
Yeah.
And then after it went down to 10 years, and I was like, shit, where do I sign? I know what I did.
Yeah.
And so what happened was the police report got twisted. The wrong officer wrote the report. So they ended up dropping everything down to a discharge of a firearm.
Yeah.
And I actually was going to take the 10-year deal, but they gave me a 16-month with half. So it was like, what the hell? Like it was insane, and like I was shocked,
Yeah.
And
so were you in LA County Jail fighting this?
Yeah, 11 months.
Yeah.
11 months. And so I get that deal, and I think everything's gravy. Well, the judge tells me, I know you're guilty. We all know you're guilty, but being that the police report was written by the wrong person, you're basically getting off scot-free. So I had all the station right there. They were so pissed, man. They were mad. Yeah. Me, I thought, okay, I got over it. Cool, They had the gun. They had everything. They had shells. They had everything. That was caught dead bang. 100% caught dead bang. Well, little did I know, I pissed them off, and they threw a robbery case on me that I did not do.
Oh wow.
Yep. So that's what set me down for a long time.
Yeah.
And so they pinned this robbery case on me, and I actually knew who did it, and what could I do? I couldn't do nothing about it. I had to sit my ass down and take it like a champ. And that's what
you got to ride it out, man.
That's one of the things about about the streets, man, and people don't realize that, man.
Yeah.
Part of the streets, you have to live by the code, man. And
Yeah.
I had to sit down. And I ended up getting 9 years on that.
All right.
So I had a total of, it was 10 years pretty much. And
So when you went to prison, what reception center did you go to?
I went to Wasco.
All right.
Wasco reception, yeah. And it was cool because I was already in the county jail for so long, so I was already put up on game on prison, and
Right.
it was a whole, like, it wasn't as wild as a county jail. The county jail was crazy, man. It was something else, you know. It was wild.
I've heard a lot of wild stories about LA County Jail, man.
Yeah, it was wild, man. It was cool for me, but it was a whole different animal. So when I got to prison, I ended up selling up with some dude, which I knew his buddy, and he was all into the prison games. And I remember the first times we hit yard, he's like, "Hey, man, stay by me because something's about to happen." I didn't think much of it, you know. Well, some dude pretty much lost his life almost on the basketball court.
Yeah.
And I was just like shocked, like, wow, okay, this is what it is, you know. This is what it is.
Eye opener.
Yeah, it was an eye opener, but it wasn't scary. It was just like an eye opener, you know. It is what
like
it is.
A reality check, like, hey, this is the way things are here, you know.
Yeah, because it wasn't the first time. Because in the county jail, I used to see that all the time. You know, stuff was happening all the time, whatever, everywhere, you know. And that one was just like a little different. And I knew I was gonna be there for a while, and I had a buddy that used to push carts right there in Wasco, like the kitchen carts or whatever.
Right.
Well, he shot me some tobacco. So with that being reception, you can't really get tobacco back then, and it was a little hard, you know. And actually they you know what, they did have tobacco. They did have tobacco, but it wasn't not everybody had tobacco because the way the store was.
Right.
And so my buddy gave me some tobacco, and I was like, dang, like, what do I do with this? I didn't really know what to do with it too much because I didn't really smoke. So what I did was I broke down the tobacco for and I would trade it for coffee.
Right.
Well, I ended up getting that coffee and breaking that coffee down and trading it for soups. So I was getting my little hustle on little by little. Like, I didn't have nobody taking care of me, you know, and I didn't want to bother people on the streets because I already knew they were struggling, you know.
Yeah.
And it started off with like a little pouch of tobacco, and I flipped it to a couple of jars of coffee, and then just bam, and I used to get soups and peanut butter and jelly, you know. That's all I wanted.
Especially in a reception center, all that coffee, all that stuff's pretty valuable, you know.
Oh yeah, there wasn't a whole lot because you're there pretty much 3 months, and not everybody's going to store, you know. You're going to store once a month.
Yeah.
And I forgot what the amount was, but it was a trip. I stood there for a little while, and from there I ended up hitting Tracy.
Right.
So I was like, man, like I when I hit Tracy's an old school prison, man. That thing is that damn prison smells like death.
So what year did you get to Tracy?
I hit Tracy in 2000.
All right.
Yeah, 2000. I hit Tracy, and it was something else, man. The 3 tiers was like West Side and East Side or something like that. I hit J Wing.
Oh, J Wing. I used to be in J Wing. Then I was in D Wing. Across the highway. Yeah.
Right across from each other. I hit J Wing, and I get in the cell. I'm single celled because I'm a white Southsider, and I'm tripping out on the light. I'm pulling the damn light switch over the bunk. And I was tripping out on that, you know, just the door set up and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't there by myself. I got all bored, man. And my dumb ass decided to stick my finger in the damn light socket. stuck my finger in the light socket and shocked the shit out of myself. I was born something there, man. But
And
my
old school lights, all that, you know.
yeah, the old light bulb, old school, you know, and that was the trick. One of my buddies that I grew up with, he actually ended up being here on the yard, and so that was cool. I got to they actually swapped me cells to the other side of J-Wing third tier, and I actually had them in my van. So we got to chop it up through the vent for a little bit, and we got out to the yard and all that stuff and caught up and all that good stuff. It was cool, you know. It was a yard is humongous.
Yeah,
The
Tracy
yard
has
is,
a big yard. That's for sure.
that yard was huge, man. And then I stood in J-Wing for a couple weeks, I think about 3 weeks, and they sent me to the zoo. I don't know if the zoo was open when you were there.
Yeah. So the zoo is a gym. It's actually a field house.
Yeah.
It's a very big building.
Yeah, there the zoo, I want to say there was about, I want to imagine there was 1,000 inmates in there.
Oh wow. I
I
think
think
when I
it
was
was,
there, they had about 700. They had a split. They had a couple different sides, you know.
okay, that sounds about right, about 600-700, because they had White Dorm next door.
Right.
White Dorm was a little smaller, and
Yeah.
the first night in the zoo, man, I had another homeboy from my neighborhood in there, and he met me at the door, and he basically showed me around, and lights went out. First day, lights went out. Some dude caught a lock in the sock to the head, man.
Oh wow.
And the alarm went off, and I was tripping out like, man, there was all the commotion, and Tracy in the dorm, everybody used to run to the incident to find out what's going on. You don't get down. You get to see what's there, just in case it's time to go to war or whatever.
Oh,
Whatever.
in case it's one of your homies or something.
Yeah, so that was like a rule, and so it was an experience, you know, and it was cool. I stood real quiet. I just associated with very few people, so I could learn the ropes and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
what was this? There was this white convict, man. He was a little short, stocky dude. He'd been doing time forever and a day. You could tell. He was blasted from head to toe, you know. And
Yeah.
he was a cold piece of work, man. He used to be he actually knew my dad. He knew my dad from way back in the days, from prison and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
he used to always be on my bunk, fucking bugging the shit out of me. He was a stocky. He's been doing time, man. And he used to come over there and punch on me and all that shit. I was young, 18, 19 years old, and want to be wrestling and all that stuff. And I'll be pushing him off like, we can't play like that. We can't mess around. But he was really good people, man. And he didn't last too long on the yard. They came and snatched him up. They came and got him. They took him off the yard.
Yeah.
Where he got validated for his reasons, you know.
Yeah.
But before that, it was before they snatched him up, there was they have this group, the 415s, the African Americans, and there was a little young dude there. He was there 18 years old. He was from up north, young African gentleman, and he had a big chip on his shoulder, man, and it was crazy. A big old thing almost happened because of that, and that's when that old white convict, he told me, he's like, hey man, I got your back. Like, don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about it. I got you, you know. And everything ended up getting squashed, taken care of. But man, that poor kid, man. Oh, that poor kid got knocked out in front of everybody by some older African American dude, because he was doing too much. He was doing way too much. And
Yeah.
boy, I seen him get slept. I was like, wow. Like, that's when I realized that these motherfuckers are hitting hard. They're punching hard. So man, that was like
he
a
was
little.
jeopardizing the program or some older dudes probably that didn't dig it, you know.
Yes, yes, because too, Mitch, how good the program was right there. How much luxury there was with
Yeah, I left
the
there in
sodas and
'93. I was there. I was there from '89 to '93, and it was, you know, back then we had hobby, we had PIA, we had a swimming pool, we had barbecues on the yard on holidays, bicycle races. Yeah, it was a good pen, you know.
yeah, I got to see the bicycle races. That was funny as hell, man. That was something else.
Yeah,
Yeah, bicycle races.
Coach Marty did that.
Yeah, yeah, he was still there. He was actually still there when I was there. Um, yeah, so after one day I was just sitting down, man, and I was sitting on my bunk and it hit me. It's like, man, I'm not going home for a long time. I'm gonna be here for a long time, and I need to figure this out, man. I need to really figure out what's going on.
Right.
And I had a little bit of money, like I had like maybe $100. $100 ain't gonna last too long,
Yeah.
And I had my priorities start straight with, like, as far as hygiene and all that stuff. I knew that was very important. And I was sitting on my bunk, man, in the Mexican, what would you call them, the Mexican nationals, the paisas.
Yeah.
I was watching all them, what they were doing, and they were hustling like little Christmas cards,
Right.
coloring Mickey Mouse and Goofy and Donald Duck and all that. And I was like, man, I could do that,
Yeah.
So at that time they were selling their cards for about $2.
Oh wow.
So I was like, man, I could do that. So what I did is I started creating the cards. I started making those type of cards, and I started lowballing them. I was doing them for $1. So I'm getting my suits and all that stuff like that, and I was going through some patterns one day from one of my buddies lent me, and there was the old I don't know what it's called, but it's called the charra. It's basically the Mexican girl with the Mexican hat,
It
with
was
like the boots and all. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I pulled out that picture, man, and I decided, like, okay, I'm gonna try to duplicate this, And so I got it and I started drawing it. And some dude passes by. He's from Oxnard, Squire Drive. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't know where he stands at these days, but he passed by and he seen what I was doing when I was doing that drawing, and he's like, "Hey man, how long you been drawing?" I said, I looked at him, I told him, "Hey, this is my first drawing. I never drawn nothing before. I've been doing these little cartoon characters." And he's like, "Oh, are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'll be back." He left. He came back with a tattoo machine, with a whole kit, with batteries and the whole ink and everything, man. He said, "Here." And he threw it on my bunk, and I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do with this? He said, "Man, if you're drawing like that, you need to start tattooing now."
Yeah.
And that was it. It was over after that. I got me a couple guinea pigs, and then the first one was fucking came out badass, nice, And then I got another guy, man. I did a Emiliano Zapata on his side. It came out really good, real nice, almost identical, And then I did a Zapatista, like a warrior with like a AK and a mask, came out really good too. So I was like, man, everybody was excited. Everybody was like, man, that's badass work. After that, it didn't go so good, Mitch. I was fucking everybody up. I was tearing everybody up, man. I was digging them out, and it was going horrible, man. But I kept going. I did a back piece, which that thing probably looked ugly as shit, man. Ugly as hell,
Yeah.
I picked it up little by little, and I ended up in K-Wing for a while, for a little bit.
K-Wings the hole, add sig.
Yeah, I ended up back there a couple of times. Stupid stuff, and then I ended up in C-Wing. I ended up in
Yeah.
C-Wing for a while. I did a 11-month lockdown right there by myself in a cell, no TV, nothing but boxers and sheets and all that stuff. Because in the process of I didn't get my property coming out of the hole, and in the process of coming out, something had happened, and I was better off in the hole, man. I was better off in the hole, and I got stuck, slammed down by myself. Even in the hole, you're single celled, but it's different. You know, you could talk to your neighbor. You could you know, in the wing, you ain't talking to nobody.
You got a routine when you're in the hole, you know.
Yeah, and that time I wasn't there that long. I was only back there for 2 weeks for some type of inciting a riot. I don't know, it was so stupid. I didn't even when they put the cuffs on me, I didn't even know what the hell was going on. I was like, oh, well, it is what it is. Time to go, you know.
Yeah.
And I ended up in C-Wing, and it was pretty cool. My buddy was in there, and it was an adventure, man. By that time, my points were already through the roof.
So you were getting write-ups, getting in trouble, right?
Oh yeah, man.
Which escalated your points.
Yeah. One thing that was lovely there, man, was the pruno. They still had sugar on the line,
Yeah.
and they still were giving out oranges, pears, apples, tomato paste.
Yeah.
Man, so there was a lot of pruno, man. A lot of
The thing
pruno.
about making wine is when you're in a prison that's hot, the wine cooks good and it cooks fast. And Tracy's always hot except for the winter. And it's, you know, I made quite a few batches of wine there in Tracy. They used to actually sell fruit juice on the canteen when I was there.
Oh yeah, man. Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah. I didn't drink the water. You know that water was so lovely.
Yeah, the water there, last time I went through there was 2013, and the big water filter broke and the water was coming out of the tap black. I mean, straight black. Yeah.
It was that water was, oh my goodness, it was nasty.
Terrible,
it was nasty.
Terrible deal, man.
Yeah, that was horrible. That water was like that forever and a day, man.
Yeah. Well, you know, they closed DVI, right?
Yeah, actually, when I left a couple years later, they ended up shutting it down. And then I think they opened it up to like the reception. And then recently, I think they shut it down completely, right? Or it's in the process.
I went back there in 2013 as a level 2, but I had gotten valley fever at another prison, so I was high risk medical, and they sent me over to CMC West Yard for high risk medical shit, you know. But I was back to Tracy for about 3 or 4 months before I got transferred out, and it was not the same prison that I remembered from the 90s, you know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it changed.
It was a fucked up place. The hobby was closed. You know, it was not good. You know?
Yeah, the hobby. When I was there, the hobby was it was pretty much done too. They were still letting a lot of different art supplies in, because the tattoo ink was coming in like crazy through the hobby.
Right.
Really, really good ink. I don't know if there was still like guitars and all that stuff. People were still with guitars. I don't know if that's part of hobby or what that was part of. But
that's just, you know, you can get a guitar counts as an appliance, actually.
Oh, that's what that was?
Yeah, yeah. So you got into artwork there, right? That was your thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where you started, and you're still doing artwork now, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Still doing artwork.
A couple things. You're tattooing.
Yeah, I was tattooing when I had got out. I was tattooing for a while. I tried to get into a shop, but it was really, really difficult because the economy was doing shitty. And the thing with tattooing, if you don't chase it, it's not going to come to you unless you really build it up, you know?
Yeah.
And so I stopped. I stopped for about 10 years. And just recently, right before Corona hit, I got back into it. And it's been going good, you know.
Yeah.
It's been going real good. I can't just jump into a shop because I have bills to pay. I have a house. I have a family. So I have to work, you know. So I tattoo on the weekends, sometimes during the week, but
Right.
mostly on the weekends, you know. Drawing and all that stuff.
Yeah. So you got transferred out of Tracy then, right?
Yeah, I ended up bumping my points up and all that stuff, and I ended up hitting Centinela,
All right.
level 4, and I stood there for a while.
They had like one level 4 yard there, right?
Yeah, C yard. That's how. Yeah, I was just C yard. It was a 270 split in half. It was cool. I had a lot of homeboys right there from my neighborhood.
Right.
I tattooed right there. That's where I really learned how to tattoo. Like that's where I mastered pretty much the craft in there.
Yeah.
But right there, I wasn't tattooing a whole lot because there were some really good artists on the yard. So I was doing it here and there, a little here and there. My cellies, a couple people here and there. But my main thing right there was drawing.
Yeah.
And right there, I used to draw on cardstock or handkerchiefs.
Right.
So I would do a lot of drawings like that and do a lot of trading for stuff, you know, and
Yeah.
making money and man, one drawing I used to sell one drawing for $25. You know,
Yeah.
so $25 for a piece of paper is like,
Yeah.
oh man, that's good. You know, some people would charge a lot more, but I was good with that. You know.
In prison, that's not too
Yeah.
bad. You know, depends on how long it takes you, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And then I had a couple good customers, and so I had a kitchen worker right there. There was a customer, so he used to keep me back there. Over there, he used to be able to get sandwiches and all kinds of stuff from the kitchen. So he always had a bag for me when he'd get out of work. So I would draw for him, and he would feed me. You know.
Yeah. And, you know, people got to understand the food and in prisons now are pretty bad. So you got somebody dropping a little sack of food on you once in a while. It's pretty nice.
Hey, the food thing. All right. So here's something that is always talked about. The chicken on the bone.
Yeah. Chicken on the bone.
I hated that goddamn chicken, man. I ate that damn chicken. Out of the 10 years I was supposed to eat it 5 times.
Yeah.
I ate it one time at every institution I went to. I ate it one time just to taste it. After that, no, thank you.
Yeah, guys like it because it's real meat, but to me, chicken on the bone, it's just a little tiny leg. And it's just like, dude, they must have killed that chicken when it was a week old, you know? And, you know, when I went to prison, when they had chicken, they gave you a half a chicken. A half a chicken.
Yeah.
That's what you got when they had chicken night. You know, now you get a little bit of leg it's nothing, you know, it just, and it's either raw or it's burnt to shit, super greasy. It's just nasty shit.
AIDS all in it. Yeah, oh man, it was nasty. I didn't like it.
Centinela for a level 4, it wasn't too bad, right?
It was actually, that's where I learned a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the ins and outs, the game, and I was put in line right there, you know, because I came from Tracy, and Tracy wasn't structured how the level 4 was, and they put the brakes on me real quick right there. Real quick, they slowed me down really quick, you know. They told me, hey man, this is what it is, and a lot of my friends there were lifers. There was 6 of us there, and out of the 6, 5 of them were lifers.
What do you mean, like homies from El Monte, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the 6th person's going home, and guess who that is? That's me. So they put the brakes on me real quick right there, and then they put me up on a lot of game, man. A lot of stuff. I started learning a lot of things. That's where I got into reading, learning different history, American history, just general education.
Yeah.
All that good stuff. Picked up some books. The basic art of war and all this bullshit.
Yeah. So were you
typical.
sold up with one of your homies?
Yeah, I actually did sell up with one of my homeboys for a little while. Uh, man, there's some stories, man. I wish I could tell, but I'm not gonna ever tell them. It's just not gonna happen,
Yeah. Yeah. Some things
It's crazy.
were better off left unsaid,
Yeah.
So tell me, like, the guys you knew, obviously you had some homies doing life, and then, what was a big difference between the guys doing life and the guys not doing life in your eyes?
The guys doing life are really, really humble. Really, really humble.
Yeah.
But if you cross them,
Yeah.
they have no problem at all taking your win. At all.
Yeah.
They won't even think twice about it.
Yeah.
They will not think twice about it. They're really, really humble, really kind, really respectful, serious, but also they have a little character in them too. And there is also,
That was a time when lifers figured they were never getting out too.
yeah, and then it was I never way back in Tracy when I was telling you when I was sitting on that bunk and trying to figure out what I was gonna do. At that moment, I accepted the fact that where I was.
Yeah.
I accepted the fact where I was, and this is my world. So I had a thought process of a lifer, but I knew that I had a date, and I never worried about that date, and I never talked about that date. And the date, it was there, but it wasn't promised. It was never
Right.
promised.
Yeah.
I knew, and when I used to get to the yard, I used to ask a lot of questions about what would happen if something would happen if how the DA reacts, And them questions are because I'm going home. I have 2 strikes, but what happens if I get put in a situation? How far can I take it? What can I do? What can I not do?
Right.
Before the DA gets involved. And a lot of people, Mitch, they don't think like that, man. They're a lot of them dudes are stupid as shit, man.
Yeah.
Hello, here I am, get the fuck out of here, man.
It's all races or got that kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I learned a lot at that institution. It was cool. I seen a lot of stuff. It was cool. It was cool.
There's a lot of guys in there that can't see past right there, right now. They don't look down the road.
That's another thing, Mitch. A lot of these other channels they don't talk about is every institution has 5 yards. A yard,
4 or 5.
B yard, C yard, D yard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a level 1. Most of them have a level 1.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, 4 yards. Okay. What they don't say is every single yard is its own world.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. Centinela has 4 yards. A yard's its own world. B yard is its own world. They're all their own little world. Yeah, there's communication.
Right.
But it's not the same. Nothing is the same. Every institution is different. Every institution.
Yeah.
And a lot of people they don't really touch on that. I don't even want to get into a lot of the channels.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It gets
Yeah,
crazy.
when I went to the pen, they would have, 3 or 4 or 5,000 dudes on 1 yard.
Yeah.
And I remember this cop, I knew him when I went through Chino, and then I seen him later on, and he goes, at another pen, he goes, yeah, he goes, they're gonna build new prisons that only have 500 dudes in the prison. I said, man, come on, And then when they started building the new prisons, he kind of had it right, because all them yards were only supposed to have 500 dudes on them, but they doubled up all the cells. So what it is, they have say they have 4 yards. Well, that's 1,000 dudes on each yard, and that's it. That's your world. That way they have more control. When you got 3 or 4,000 dudes running around one prison, interacting with everybody, going to work everywhere, like you might live in East Block, another guy lives in South Block or whatever, and you can, shake it and move it and get things done. And it's a lot difficult to go from 1 yard to another. Like I used to work as a plumber, so I used to go all over the place,
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah, that's the
a
job
lot
right there.
they got a lot of control in them prisons now, and the economy and the whole social structure of 1 yard might be a lot different than the next yard, in the same prison. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool right there. It was lovely, man. I ended up
Did you finish your time there?
no, I actually transferred from there to Calipatria.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So you went from bad to worse.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That when I hit Calipatria, this was before all the changes. And it was Calipatria is not a fun prison, man. Not a fun prison at all.
Calipatria has been a nightmare since the day it opened.
Yes, yes. And so I already had heard about Calipatria, and one of the guys that was on the bus with me that I was shackled to, he ended up being my celly right there. So he put me up on everything about Calipatria.
Yeah.
And Calipatria is not a free ride, man. Not a free ride.
No.
You ain't hanging out right there. Ain't nothing free at Calipatria.
Yeah.
And it was something else, man. We got off the bus and walked into the yard. The yard is all dirt and rocks, man. Nothing but dirt and rocks. The building has no paint on it. It's gray. There's no grass. It's a desert. It's ugly. It's depressing.
Hot.
Hot as shit, man. And no bullshit, Mitch. As soon as we came through that gate, we're walking through that gate, shackled up. Some fucking dudes getting hit about 3 feet from me. I'm like, here we go, man. Here we go.
Yeah.
I tell the dude that's next, I said, go, 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 go. Like, walk into the building before we get stuck out here,
Yeah,
He's
because
like,
you would have had to lay down in the grass, shackled up.
yes.
For hours.
On the concrete.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's like, what's up? What's up? I was like, go, go, go. We got into the rotunda. They shut the door. When they shut the door to the rotunda, yard down. So I'm like, cool, we made it.
Yeah.
And it was a trip, man. So we got unshackled. We ended up going to our cell. Close custody count came by. Close custody count cleared. Get ready for yard. I said, what? I tell the dude I'm in the cell with, hey, what's going on, man? They're releasing yard? He said, yeah, they must have found the weapon.
Yeah.
I was like, are you kidding me? They find the weapon, resume program. They don't find the weapon, you're locked down for 2 days.
Yeah.
2 days. I was like, wow, where am I at, man? Where am I at? And from there, it was, I stood there for 3 years.
Yeah.
I hated every single day of it. Every day I hated it. A lot of things going on, man. A lot of the weather was horrible. A lot of white lightning everywhere.
Yeah, from what I understand about Calipatria, there's a lot of dope, there's a lot of politics, There's not a lot of access to art supplies and all that good shit that makes life comfortable. So they keep you miserable. So a lot of guys just spend their time getting loaded, and as that whole game right there, a lot of guys don't like to pay their debts, and you know how they get, if they don't pay, they get paid, and
Yeah.
I just heard nothing good about that prison.
Oh yeah, it was a very vicious, very very vicious. Right there, I started tattooing a little bit again, like a lot more. That was good, that was going really good. The art was selling my art right there was amazing. That was cool. I used to get $100 just for a handkerchief. It
Oh
was
yeah.
really easy to get $100 there. It was cool, man. We ended up going on a lockdown, and in the process of that lockdown, I believe it was about a year, probably close to a year. Something had happened on one of the yards. It's pretty much out there all over. I'm not gonna say what happened, but something had happened, and it uh it caused for my points to drop, and my points dropped, and I ended up going to Ironwood. I spent my last 11 months in Ironwood, and when I got to Ironwood, man, it was like the free world almost.
Really?
It was buck wild, man. It was buck wild. It was insane. Like the yard was humongous because I'm so used to a half a yard.
Yeah.
Uh, it it was crazy, man. It was something else. I was tattooing in there again, and a lot of drawing. The drawing, all the art was going good right there. I actually hooked up with some dude that was designing T-shirts, and he ended up burning me. He ended up robbing me. He would send me $20 for a drawing, and no telling how much money he made on the streets with them T-shirts.
Oh, you never know.
Yeah, he got over on me, but I was happy with my little $20.
Yeah.
I thought I was doing something good. I was designing shirts for the outside world.
Yeah.
I got burned.
One
Yeah, it
thing
was cool.
about one thing about being a higher level prisons, guys recognize, artwork, and they don't have no problem paying you for stuff.
Yeah, that's
And
exactly what it was. Yeah, exactly what it was.
yeah,
Then you do it like in the higher levels too. You do a lot of more stuff out of appreciation because it's like you're doing it because you respect the dude. Like hey, like it's more like here, like I want to do this for you. Not like oh give me your $20, $30. And you almost feel privileged to do something for that individual. Out of respect because his character and how he carries himself.
right. Yeah, that's right. And
That's
they
at
appreciate
the end.
you.
That's how. Yeah, at the end, when I hit Ironwood, I was very, very choosy on who I tattooed on. I didn't tattoo on anybody. I didn't care for it, and people would try to move in with me to tattoo. I'm like, nah, it ain't happening, dude. Like, nah, you could go somewhere else with that because you got to earn this. It was already that stage of the game where if I'm gonna tattoo you, it's because you deserve it. You're a stand.
Yeah, it's not just about the money. Yeah. Something happened there.
Yeah, I gotta call. I gotta hang it up real quick.
Yeah, it's not always about the money. So you paroled from Ironwood, right?
Yeah, I left Ironwood.
How long have you been out?
I've been out a long time, Mitch. I've been out 12 years.
Oh wow.
I've been out 12 years. I haven't been busted since. See, I knew from that moment I sat on that bed and made them thoughts. I knew I was gonna do good too when I got out, but I was still busted, and I still had to play the game.
Right.
And that's some of the stuff that I'm gonna put in my channel when I talk about stuff because
Yeah.
there's some. I played the game to the end, Mitch, all the way to the end, to the
Yeah.
day to the moment I paroled.
Well, you took the ride to the end.
Exactly.
signed up
Exactly.
for it and you wrote it out. And that's something I always say, you know, like I'm out, I'm off parole, and, you know, God willing, I'll never see another jail cell again. But I chose to be involved with certain lifestyle. I got busted. I got a prison term. I wrote it out. And now I'm out here in the world doing my thing, you know?
Yep. Stood on the main line the whole time. No scars. Never got no holes put in me. Never been disciplined. Played the game to the best of my knowledge, what I could do. Stood strong. Always represented myself, because I learned that too a long time ago. You're not representing your gang, you're representing yourself as an individual.
Right.
Then after that, you're representing your gang. So you
Right.
got to represent yourself as a man. You're, when they talk about you, they say your name, then your neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I knew that. I learned that very quick, really, really quick too.
Yeah.
And I got out. Yeah, I got out, and I was tattooing, still doing art, and then I eventually got my wife pregnant. I had to start working, and then from there, I just been working, and I do a lot of art stuff out here. I create T-shirts out here now. I haven't really pushed them out yet, but I have designs that I'm doing. You know,
Yeah.
I wear myself. I do coffee mugs. I do stuff on coffee mugs, which are badass. I don't have my mug out here. I'm
Yeah,
in
you're
my
tattooing
garage.
tumblers, right?
I do tattoo on tumblers, but that takes so long.
Yeah.
There's other ways I could do it now. Yeah, that's a little interesting. That's fun. I do all kinds of different stuff. I try to tattoo two clients on the weekends all the time.
And you're working.
Working, yeah, I work 40 hours a week. I was working at the same job for the whole time I was out. One job, Corona hit. It got a little slow. Within that time, I started looking for another job, so I was off for a little bit,
Yeah.
getting an employment. But I was going crazy because I needed to work,
Right.
and I ended up getting a new job. You know, I ended up getting another job. I've been working at this job for about 3-4 months already.
Yeah.
It's going good.
Awesome.
A lot of people were getting unemployment. It was paying really good, but it wasn't my character, man. I needed to work. I needed to stay busy. I needed to do something, you know.
And
And I wasn't
it's
into,
clean money, right?
yeah, you know. And I wasn't into getting that. I wasn't into unemployment thing. You know, I couldn't do it.
And
It wasn't
so,
me.
are you still living in your old neighborhood?
I'm actually down the street, pretty much. Yeah, I'm not that far from my neighborhood. I still talk to a lot of my friends from childhood.
Right.
I still associate with a lot of people. I don't go over there unless I'm going somewhere. I go from point A to point B, back to point A. Ain't no C. If I go from point A to point B, C okay. Then after that, back to A. But
Yeah.
there ain't no hanging out. There ain't no none of that. I'm a little. I'm still young, but I'm too old for that. I came to realize that there ain't nothing over there for me. You know.
But so your homies you grew up with and stuff, they recognize you, what you're doing. You know, you did your little issue in prison, and now you're out here doing it right. They recognize that. They respect that, right?
Oh yes, definitely 100%. They were pushing me to start the YouTube thing too, and
Yeah.
I was always like, nah, man, like, nah, no. But now I figured out a way to do it, you know, and
Yeah.
I do a lot of my videos are it's gonna be art, positivity.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do the short videos every day. Trying to do something every day, something 30 seconds a minute, you know.
Yeah.
Drop some game, you know.
Yeah.
I try to do one video a week, just basic stories, conversation, drop some knowledge in there. Eventually, I'm gonna do one live a week once I build up to that.
Yeah.
do one live for an hour. Then I have another plan. I can't tell you, but I got another plan going.
That's
For
good shit.
live.
That's good
I got
shit.
a couple. I'm gonna keep it really simple.
Yeah.
Kind of basically how you have it,
Yeah.
simple. A lot of these other channels, they try to do a little too much, and it's like, nah, just
Yeah.
keep it simple, basic.
Hey, slow
Nothing.
and steady wins the race, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not in no rush to get nowhere. It's
That's
gonna
right.
happen.
Hey, well, hats off to you, man. Congratulations on making the most out of your second chance out here in the world. Really,
Yeah.
it's a story I love to hear. I love to see. We got some guys around here. I know that we're in the pen. We had the same parole officer, or I met him here or there, whatever, and they same thing. They did their time, and now they're making their life out here in the world, and I just love seeing it, man. And for you down there where you're at, where you grew up and all that kind of stuff, it was a little more difficult, I imagine. And so it took a lot of effort on your behalf, and I just wanted to congratulate you, man, and say, my hat's off to you. Really.
It's a lot of work, man. It's a work in progress still.
And we're gonna post your stuff on our community page so people can check you out. You got an Instagram, you got a YouTube channel. I like to see you start building it, and get your artwork out there. I just built a shed I'm gonna use as an art studio. Just do it, man.
The other day, I caught your live about the painting.
Yeah.
And I told you I was gonna send you something. This is what I'm gonna send you. 1 second. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
This is the one I'm gonna send you. You're gonna have to send me a PO box or address or something so I can mail it to you.
All right. Yeah,
you can do
we'll
whatever.
raffle that off. We had a fire up here. California has fires now all over the fucking state, and but we had a fire that started about 14 miles from our house, and some of our friends were affected by it. A lot of people lost everything they own. Firefighters are coming from all over the place to deal with it, and so we're doing a raffle. We're going to give half our money to that we get to the fire victims, and we'll do the same thing with that.
Good stuff, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Pay it forward, right?
Yeah, always. Always. Whatever we could do to try to give back somehow, some way.
Yeah. Anything you want to say before we close out?
Come check out my channel. You might like it, you might not. It's not for everybody. But I guarantee you there will be a lesson learned in it somehow, some way.
Yeah.
It's definitely on my short the little short films. I don't know what they're called. They're like a minute long or whatever.
Yeah.
Those are always cool little quotes that I put out there. Cool little things,
Yeah.
Just little different stuff like that. It's all positive. I can tell you that 100%. It's all going to be positive.
Cool.
I ain't covering no goddamn stories on nobody, none of that. No, it's all going to be personal experience, hands-on, my life, not nobody else's.
Yeah. All right. Well, enjoy it. Enjoy your channel, enjoy your art, and your family and your life, bro. For real.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to do.
That's right. That's what it's all about. We're only here one time that we know of, so make the most.
I'm have to come back on again, man.
Sure.
Okay, so basically, when I started this, there was a few people reaching out to me that wanted me to do interviews, and it's not gonna happen. I'm not doing them.
Yeah.
I chose you because of the art, the tattooing, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Tracy Prison. That's why I chose you, and your character, the way you are, stand-up dude. The next person I do, that I go on is gonna be one of my buddies that has a channel.
Yeah.
Because we know each other. And the only other person that I would think about going on, and I reached out to him a long time ago, was Josh, 23 and 1, 23 and 1.
Yeah.
Okay, I reached out to him before you did your interview with him.
Yeah.
But then all that other stuff happened after, when he didn't want to interview nobody from California no more, and it kind of put me out to dry.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I messaged him a while back, but
I can get at him if you like me to, you know.
that would be cool.
Yeah, Josh is a cool guy.
Yeah, and that would be cool. You know, I could make it different for him. You know, I could tell him some other stuff. You know.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to definitely do it again. You know.
Yeah, I like
because
chatting with you, man.
There's still some more. There's more stuff that I got going on out here. You know, it's a couple other things. You know, and then next time I'll be ready to show you. It's a lot of art, a lot of different art stuff, and a lot of good stuff, man.
You know, when I was in Tracy, I wrote a story about tattooing in prison. It was in Tattoo Review magazine, right?
I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about that. I did see that. I caught that one.
That's right. All right, brother. Good talking with you. Thanks for coming on our channel. What do you say? Do it hard.
Don't do it. Do it hard.
That's right, brother. Appreciate our subscribers. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you for watching, folks. Visit us at HARDINTENTIONS.com. Whatever you do, remember, do it hard.